Our story today revolves around a lonely boy attending a unique academy despite having no abilities, yet it is a tale deserving of attention. In a universe populated by superhumans, Will finds it difficult to unearth his gifts, even though he is the offspring of two renowned idols, the Commander Steve and Jetstream Josie. During his initial arrival at Sky High, Will attempts to dazzle his father by pretending to possess super might, but is unsuccessful. Steve remains arrogant, yet unaware, trusting that Will is destined to pursue his identical path of heroism. Will's closest companion, Layla, who has the capacity to manipulate flora, accompanies him on the trek to class. Steve and Josie are summoned to battle a colossal android, forcing Will and Layla to proceed to the academy by themselves. Aboard the transport piloted by Ron Wilson, the reputation Will holds as the child of legends attracts undesirable scrutiny. Although Ron Wilson provides VIP seating, Will chooses to sit beside his pal Zach, who unveils his special abilities. Will becomes increasingly nervous regarding his incapacity to demonstrate any talents of his own. Ron Wilson subsequently propels the vehicle into the atmosphere, transporting the students towards Sky High. At the school, bullies Lash and Speed torment new arrivals until Gwen, the self-assured student council leader, steps in. Will is immediately attracted to Gwen, who greets them kindly and guides a tour of the facility. They arrive at the assembly hall where Principal Powers welcomes the pupils and declares the approaching classification exam to sort them into heroes or sidekicks. Coach Boomer commences the assessment with Larry, who changes into Rock and is designated a hero. Zach tries to dazzle by illuminating but is marked a sidekick, as are Ethan, who melts into goo, and Magenta, who can only transform into a guinea pig. Layla declines to demonstrate her skills, claiming a person's value isn't determined by powers, which earns her a place as a sidekick. During their meal, Zach complains about his rank, and Will spots War and Peace staring him down. Layla clarifies the animosity, noting that the Commander Steve imprisoned his criminal father. Will later encounters Gwen, who asks him to the homecoming committee, leaving him flustered but excited. Will then finds Lash and Speed bullying Ethan. Assuming Will is a hero, they try to recruit him, but Will ignores them without defending Ethan. Finally, Will faces the placement test, whispering to Coach Boomer that he lacks abilities. The instructor tests him by dropping an automobile, nearly flattening him and pushing him off the platform hoping to see flight. Will impacts the floor heavily, realizing he truly possesses no gifts. Coach Boomer mocks him, announcing that the child of legendary heroes is merely a sidekick. Later, Will visits the infirmary after the harsh trial. The nurse says he is healthy, but warns that some, like Ron Wilson, never gain powers. Disheartened, Will decides to inform his father. Steve, eager to hear about Will's day, takes him to the secret superhero lair filled with awards, showing off the pacifier, a gadget from Royal Pain. Steve proudly shares how that battle led him to meet Josie. He even reserves a spot for Will's future awards, confident they'll fight together someday. When Steve asks what is W. Ron Will song, Will loses his nerve and stays silent. Unbeknownst to them, a hidden gadget from the giant robot activates, allowing Steve's enemies to spy. That night, Will sits on the roof reflecting. Layla joins him, encouraging him to tell the truth. Will admits he couldn't after seeing his father's pride. Layla reassures him that powers don't define him, dismissing the test as flawed. The next day, Will attends hero support with friends, where Mr. Boy teaches that sidekicks are vital. He mentions he was once the Commander Steve's sidekick, leaving Will surprised but noticing Mr. Boy's disappointment. After school, Steve meets Will's friends but is unimpressed. When Will admits they are sidekicks and so is he, Steve grows furious, assuming Coach Boomer is to blame. Will insists it is no one's fault and he has no powers. Shocked, Steve suggests Will might be a late bloomer. Later, Layla smiles as Will rejoins friends, relieved to have told the truth. The next day, Will sees Lash and Speed bullying Ron Wilson and intervenes but is mocked. During lunch, Lash trips Will, spilling food on War and Peace. Enraged, War and Peace attacks with fireballs. Though Will apologizes, War and Peace doesn't listen. Just as he closes in, Will lifts the table War and Peace stands on and throws it. To everyone's shock, Will has super strength. Ecstatic, he fights back, dodging attacks. As War and Peace prepares a blast, Layla tosses Will a fire extinguisher to end the fight. Steve, thrilled Will has strength, rewards him with an Xbox but says to keep it secret from Josie. Meanwhile, villains monitoring through the robot device observe Will's new powers. At school, Will's friends celebrate, with Ethan joking he made history. Mr. Boy informs Will he is being promoted to hero classes. Although reluctant, friends encourage him to go. Will moves to Mr. Medulla's class, paired with Gwen, the TA. Struggling, Will gets help from Gwen's technopathic powers. Mr. Medulla scolds them, warning Will to learn independently. After class, Gwen explains her ability and offers to tutor Will. Excited, he agrees to meet her. At lunch, Gwen invites Will to sit with her, but Penny clones herself to occupy seats, forcing Will's friends elsewhere. Disappointed, Will apologizes to Layla and invites her to Chinese dinner, surprising her since he dislikes it. She accepts. Later, Will intervenes when Lash and Speed bully Ethan and Zack. Encouraged by friends, Will agrees to play Save the Citizen, betting bullies will stop if he wins. Lash and Speed dominate. Will ties Lash to a pole but sees War and Peace struggling. Prioritizing his teammate, Will saves War and Peace and rescues the citizen, winning. War and Peace walks away silently. That evening, Steve congratulates Will. In the kitchen, Josie and Gwen wait. Steve and Josie, impressed by Gwen, invite her to dinner. Gwen shares her mother died, and her father is inactive. She invites Steve and Josie to the homecoming party to accept an award. They agree. Later, they show Gwen and Will the yearbook. Josie points out Sue, who disappeared. Steve recalls War and Peace's father threatening revenge. That night, Will walks Gwen home. She reveals she has no date, hinting she wants him. Thrilled, Will agrees. Her father warns Will not to hurt her. Meanwhile, Layla waits alone at the restaurant. War and Peace joins her, learns she likes Will. She admits it, but feels inferior to Gwen. War and Peace encourages her to tell the truth. The next morning, Will meets Layla, oblivious to the missed dinner. Hurt, Layla tries to talk, but Will shares Gwen is his date. Shocked, Layla pretends to be happy and claims she is going with War and Peace. Will is annoyed, she chose his enemy. Layla reminds him about dinner and walks away. In the cafeteria, Layla explains her plan to War and Peace to make Will jealous. War and Peace agrees. Ethan, Zack, and Magenta join in. Seeing Will and Gwen, Layla runs to War and Peace to provoke Will. That night, Gwen gets a call about a fog machine and asks Will to host a meeting. Will agrees. Gwen turns it into a party. Feeling uneasy, Will follows Gwen's request for privacy and takes her to the secret bunker. Layla arrives, sees them leaving. Gwen tells Layla that Will doesn't like her. Furious, Layla tells Gwen to let Will know never to speak to her again. Layla ignores Will. When Will confront Wilson's Gwen, she admits what she said. Angry, Will ends the party. Parents return furious. Josie threatens to ban him from homecoming, but Will insists he isn't going. Later, Will leaves a message for Layla but gets no response. Will waits at the restaurant, but she never arrives. He runs into War and Peace, who admits Layla likes Will and was pretending. The next day, Will refuses to attend homecoming. Alone in the bunker, he looks at the yearbook, notices Sue looks like Gwen holding the pacifier, and realizes Gwen stole it. Will calls Ron Wilson for a ride. At the party, Gwen presents the award, reveals herself as Royal Pain, and uses the pacifier to turn heroes into babies. Will's friends escape. They confirm Gwen's identity. War and Peace tells Will to stop Gwen. Gwen explains her plan to raise villain babies, revealing she is Royal Pain. Penny sabotages the school's gravity. Layla and others find the wire. Magenta transforms into a guinea pig to chew it. Ron Wilson stops Stitches. Will fights Gwen. gets punched out, discovers flight, and returns. He subdues her, but she disconnects the device. Will flies beneath the school to slow the fall. Magenta finishes chewing. Will lifts the school. Afterward, they return babies to normal. Will apologizes. Steve and Josie reassure him. Mr. Boy awards the trophy, but they pass it to sidekicks. Principal Powers locks up Gwen. The pacifier is destroyed. Everyone celebrates. Will finds his place as a hero and friend. That is also the ending scene of today's movie. Thank you for watching until the end, and please hit like and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next videos.